All right, guys. Oh,
What's up?
who's hosting? Am I hosting or are you hosting? It is what it is.
It is what it is. What it is. Why?
Take it.
Why were you late? Tell them why you were late.
Steve Jobs, man. Steve Jobs.
Wait, why do you have auto updates for your whole thing, man?
Steve Jobs. Just because I want my MacBook to be safe, man.
Every time I see that updates thing, I always say dismiss, delete till next day, delete. I'm like, nah, because I know it's gonna take ages, and if I'm in the middle of an edit or something, it's just gonna make things really, really annoying. Why is my iTunes popping up and down? But how have you been, man? Before we go into so far, I would like to ask people, how are people doing? Your
how are you
health?
doing?
Who cares how I'm doing? It doesn't matter. No, how.
So who cares how I'm doing?
Mate, let's say it again. How are you doing? I suppose your boys voted for Trump.
Who?
Are you North or South?
North.
Yeah, I think your boys voted for Trump. I think. So you're a Trump supporter, man. Look, man. Whatever. All I'm saying that Trump is one of the greatest trolls out there. So, guys, look, man. This is, of course, the Complicated Chelsea show. This is, as you can see down there, this is episode 3. And this is a show which, as we say again, this is where we feel that we try and give you the truth. No BS.
Pause. How do you count? Like when you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, do you start with the thumb or the index? It depends.
No, thumb. 1, 2,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Because this is weird, like 1, 2. Yeah,
3 hurts when you do it this way. If you hold like 3 like this,
when you go 1,
but
2,
3,
like that.
that's
3. So yeah, look, man. So this is the show where we assess Chelsea. We go into a lot of detail, and we don't view ourselves as these ultralista super fans of Chelsea. That's why it's called the Complicated Chelsea show, because we are complicated fans. So this is not. If you want to hear only positive things about Chelsea, this is not the show for you. I advise you to just log off and just do something else and just tune into a Chelsea fan channel. But if you don't mind truth, hardcore truth, and true core assessment, this is the show for you. So we're going to talk about Mendy again. We're going to talk about Ziyech. We're going to talk about how the team fared in the Premier League as well as in the Champions League game, and just thoughts moving forward and reassessing our views on Lampard. So we'll just get those in, and then maybe hopefully we'll bring in Abdullahi and our other amigos just to give us a bit of substance. But I just thought it's good for us just to set things off, set the tone off between the both of us. So I think, let me put my timestamp in here. So I think the best place to start is with your boy Ziyech.
Why don't you take the shades off?
What do you mean?
It's like you're like squinting, like I can't see, like.
So Ziyech. We're gonna start with your boy Ziyech. So look, man, I've been impressed with him, and I think that because see, for me, I feel that
bottled water is disgusting, by the way.
Actually, no. Evian is which one? No. I have the.
It's not great.
The thingy, the water thing. What's it called? Freaking sift. The way you filter.
A Brita
filter. That's the one. But it's called zero water. Ziyech, our Moroccan pharaoh. I always say that eye test is something that I always believe in, and I prefer using that as opposed to some who scored player stats kind of nonsense, because for me, I'm like, okay, that's all cool and everything, like XG, X's and all that kind of stuff.
The eye test. Actually, you shouldn't do that. You should be careful because that could get into racist territory, couldn't it?
Ooh. Easy.
I was like pulling my eyes like this, and I was like, wait a minute.
Because I think Valverde was caught doing that. So yeah. Look, man, I don't want to hype him up too much, and I'm not into the whole hype game because after what's happened with Hazard, I am careful within trying to overhype a player. But but look, I think we can already see and we can already admit that Ziyech is a special player, and he is Werner, Havertz, Ziyech, of these players coming in. Ziyech was the guy that I was most excited for, and he was the guy that said, okay, this is the guy that's going to help to define Chelsea's season. And I think if he balls and if he plays on, and if he plays at a high level, he's going to be that dude. And I think already from the goals that he has scored, his passing and his quality on the ball, for me, he's on a higher level than Havertz or Werner. And the key thing, and this is why I just say that don't believe in the hype. Werner came through with a lot of hype based off of the amount of goals that he scored.
Don't believe the hype. Don't.
And then what was it called? So
whenever I hear "don't believe the hype," Flavor Flav jumps in my head. So
yeah, I've not listened to that album before.
Which one? I don't know which album that's from.
Like
it could be from. There's Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. There's Fear of a Black Planet.
No, basically both of them. I've not actually listened to a Public Enemy album from top to bottom. So
they're quite dated. So like, it's not like in 2010 you'll get it. You kind of have to jump into like, what was the late 80s like, and does it make sense for then? And then
which is why
like,
94, 95 is when I think rap reach a point where it doesn't become dated. But look,
to be listen.
I digress.
No, I do not digress. Listen to Night of the Living Bassheads. That's an accessible song. So Night of the Living Bassheads.
That's by who?
PE.
Okay.
That's like the one that I think you'll get.
Duly noted, man. So look, the Ziyech, man, for me, as I said again, people putting in Robin comparisons and so forth, which I think are blasphemous because nobody will ever be like Robin. Robin is one of the most special players of all time. That's just for me, my viewpoints. But if Chelsea are going to do anything this season, and maybe this is where I'll throw it to you. If Chelsea are going to do anything this season or win any trophies this season or really be so successful, Ziyech, more than any other player in this team, is going to be critical to that success. So he is, for me, the most important attacking player for Chelsea. So do you co-sign that Statimante? Do you believe in the Ziyech? Do you believe that the Ziyech is... Because I've never really gotten your viewpoints on Ziyech and how highly you rate him or how highly you rated him before he came to Chelsea. I've never really gotten that from you.
So what's your question?
My question is, how important of a role...
That was like 5 questions in once.
Okay, easy. I'll put it very simply for you because I know that you're like this kind of like, what's it called? Like, like historian, smart, writer, like, educator, son of educator. Okay, I know, easy, man. I'm not like on your level and everything, like
I didn't say that. I just want to be precise.
Like because 6 A stars, that kind of stuff.
Because I don't want to answer, and then you'd be like, no. I asked this.
I sat at the back of the class in all of my lessons. Yes,
me too.
It is what it is.
Back left every time. That was my place. And do you know why I did it? In case there was a school shooting, I was furthest away from the door.
Oh my! You see, that's just f-top thingy.
You gotta think.
No. My thinking was that I just hated being at the front of the class because I knew that I'd get asked the question first, so I didn't want any of that stuff.
If the door was in the back, I'd sit in the front. If the door was in the front, I'd sit in the back.
America, man, you guys are wild, man. So look, Ziyech, man. So okay, let me ask you this question first. How highly? So I'll ask a question of the past and a question of the present. How highly did you rate Ziyech before he came to Chelsea? Just objective view from what you saw, obviously, because you wouldn't watch Eredivisie. So from the 2 Champions League campaign,
how dare you assume that I wouldn't watch Eredivisie?
You don't watch Eredivisie.
I watch certain players in the Eredivisie. So what was the season where Manchester United went to the Europa League final and they played Ajax? What was that season? 2016-17?
Possibly.
Bertrand Traore was playing for Ajax. It was under Boaz, the former Dortmund manager. Or he might still be the Dortmund. Peter Bosch. Peter Bosch. He was
No. He's the manager of Leverkusen now.
Leverkusen, sorry. But he was at Dortmund for a time. And
yeah, he was.
In 17-18. But anyway, he was the manager of Ajax before Ten Hag, I believe. And that season, because Bertrand Traore is my son, I was watching Ajax fairly regularly because
he's an actual child, a biological child.
You know how you have players that you rate. He's one of the players that used to be in the Chelsea academy that I rated. Don't worry about it. I'll take it. So, when I was watching that season, I think that might have been the second season of Ziyech. I mean, I'll have to look it up, but I definitely remember that.
So your
Ziyech
view
in
on
Ajax.
Ziyech, my friend.
And I didn't think much of him at that time. I'll have to be honest with you.
So your eye test is trash.
I don't know if it's trash, but it was, yeah, he joined Ajax in 2016. So it was around that time. But I was just more focused on Bertrand Traore because he was on loan for Chelsea at the time. Why are you eating? Is that food?
Can you just say, okay, let me ask you two questions to have time to eat. So first question is your view on Ziyech before he came to Ajax, and how important do you think Ziyech will be for Chelsea? Okay.
I'm going through my answer. You know, my answers aren't quick. So, yeah, in that season when I was focused more on Traore because I wanted a left-footed player. It'll all tie in. You just got to be patient. Bertrand Traore was a dominant left-footed player who played on the right and who could also play as a striker. So for me, I was thinking Chelsea haven't had a left-footed attacker who plays on the right in years. Bertrand Traore seems like the perfect solution to that problem. Little did I know in 5 years' time Ziyech would actually be the solution, but this is why I was watching Ajax. So Ziyech in that time really didn't stand out to me. I don't have too many memories of him from that time. But which AFCON was it? 17? Something like that? I remember watching a Morocco game, and I was like, yo, this Ziyech guy, he's actually somebody to earmark as somebody. I don't know if he can go to Chelsea or if he can go to Spurs or if he can go to... But basically, Ajax is a stepping stone for him. He's not going to be a player that stays there for years and years. So, I don't know. Something happened within 16, 17, 18 to where he actually started to come on my radar. So, yeah, I rate the player highly. I think he's incredibly technical, incredibly skilled. His footballing brain is amazing. The way he presses is very diligent. I think that's an underrated part of his game, just the physicality of it. So that's why I think he'll do well in the Premier League because he has that physical base. I think it's most players who play in AFCON. Gatlock, I feel like Abdullahi's trending that way. So let's be patient. Let's be patient. But yeah, like you're not going to have a Moroccan player who plays, you know, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Ghana, Egypt, Libya. Like you're not going to have a player like that who's going to be like a soft person more times than not. So I feel like if you can cope with AFCON or just like African qualifiers, then you can cope with the Premier League. I feel like that's pretty good, especially when your technical level is as high as Ziyech's is. So if you ask me, how do I rate him? How did I rate him before? I'd rate him as like, I thought he would be a good bench player for like a Spurs or something bench like that. Player. But yeah, they had like Gareth Bale and all those guys at the, well, not Gareth Bale, but like that standard of players. And I'm thinking like, can he really get into a team like that? But then the more you watch him, the more you realize, like, no, this guy, Spurs isn't even his level. It's like he could go to a Barca or he could go to a Madrid and he could be a bench player there. So for him to be a starter for Chelsea is kind of parallel with that. So, yeah, I think answer your fourth question, how important can he be to Chelsea? Like, it's like if you put Havertz, Werner, I feel like he's the third most important signing, maybe even the fourth most important signing.
In terms of attacking, scoring goals. But obviously, we know how important Mendy is, but just
I'm gonna get there. I'm going to get there.
Because when they attack, my friend.
I heard you. I'm going to get there. I think overall, he's the fourth most important signing. I think the goalkeeper is more important. I think the center back was more important, and I think a left back was more important, considering the disparity between Alonso and Chilwell, whichever center back in Thiago Silva, and Kepa and Mendy we don't even need to discuss. But in the attack, I don't necessarily, again, I'm of the opinion that Havertz really wasn't incredibly necessary. He's good to have, but he's not incredibly necessary. Werner, another player who's good to have, but when you have Giroud and Tammy Abraham, he's good to have, but is he incredibly necessary? No. Going back to the Traore point, which is where I started and this is where I wanted to end, Chelsea have always needed a creative, left-footed player who can play on the right. And that, for me, has been the most important attacking piece Chelsea have been missing since Ian Robin, Damien Duff, They haven't had one since 2006 or 7. Because even Maluda played on the left and just spammed crosses all the time, but did dribbles and just crossed the ball over. So that's been an aspect of modern football that's been missing from Chelsea Football Club for years. So Ziyech is key, I think, to how Chelsea operate moving forward. Especially if we predict him to get better. If this is just him acclimating, then once he gets into the team, then you have a problem.
Let me rephrase this so we can get on the right path. Using the eye test, if we take Giroud, Tammy Abraham, Havertz, Werner, Pulisic, maybe you can throw Mount in there because he sort of makes up the attack, and Ziyech. Based on the eye test, who is the best player out of all of those players that I mentioned? Based on the eye test.
I think Ziyech.
You think? We don't do thought here, we do facts.
You're not going to get me to change my mind. I think it's Ziyech because I could make an argument for Pulisic, but then I still shade Ziyech. Giroud is kind of underrated as a technical footballer, so he came to mind as just somebody who can do layoffs, and if you look at the variation of goals that he scores, I could give you credit of being technical and a good footballer. But if you're just talking about like skill on the ball, like who do I think is more capable of producing a step over and like rainbow flicks and just like playing like a Brazilian in that sense, then it's Ziyech.
You see, you say that, and I think you say that in a kind of tongue-in-cheek, weird way, because I know you very well. So let me even go further right now, because I know all your tricks. I know you too well, and I know all your tricks of the.
I don't have any tricks.
You won't silver tongue me, man. You won't silver tongue me. You're not going to work with me. Now, here's my thing. Based on winning games, creating and scoring goals, Ziyech is the most important player. I don't give a damn about Chelsea needing a right player who was left-footed. That is key, 100%, which is why Willian did not work. In terms of, as an individual, what they can do in the game to change the course of the game, Ziyech is that dude. And the key thing is, which is why I say I try and say this to the people, because I told you I see myself as a truth seeker. I was put on this earth to teach people the footballing truth, like Moses. Okay, I'm the football Moses. Basically, the Red Sea is like the lies and Twitter. So I part the Red Sea, and I know that's a dry land. That's the truth.
Did you know Moses took the 10 Commandments?
Okay, go with this.
Did you know Moses
was really black or something?
No. Did you know Moses took the 10 Commandments from Egypt?
Yeah, that's obvious. Everyone knows that.
The
Pharaohs were chasing him.
Look up the negative confessions of Ma'at, M-A'-A-T, and you'll see I have not committed murder. I have not done adultery. I have not done robbery. I have not done this. And then all of a sudden, Moses just drops out from the mount. I had a conversation with God, and he gave me the 10 Commandments. No, Moses was raised as an Egyptian prince, in theory, and he took it from Egypt. So look up the negative confessions of Ma'at. I think there's 47 negative confessions.
Okay.
But anyway.
Look, I've read the Bible before, but I do like my...
That's not in the Bible. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. Like, biblical people don't know about Ma'at.
Okay, I will bing it.
I think this show should be educational as well as informative, as well as fun. Put it that way.
I said I'll bing it. Okay, I'll bing it. So,
use Google, people.
Bing. So basically, Ziyech.
Is it DuckDuckGo?
I just want you just to admit it because you're moving on around. Can you not admit that Ziyech is the critical player for Chelsea's attack?
If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. I don't think one player just dramatically improves everything to where Chelsea are now going to be Premier League title winners or some shit like that.
I didn't say that. Oh my god.
If Ziyech is better than everyone there, if that's your point, then I already conceded that.
Yes,
but that doesn't mean Chelsea are going to be like a title challenger.
All I'm saying from you is just to say concretely.
I already did.
No, I want you to mouth it. You said Ziyech is the best player. Now say that's Ziyech. Therefore, for the
I'm not gonna say what you want me to say. Like, get the fuck out of here.
But why not? No, but it doesn't make any sense.
You asked the question. I said yes.
It's a logical leap. It's a logical leap. Ziyech is Chelsea's best player. Therefore, for Chelsea's attack, Ziyech is the most important for Chelsea's attack.
Fine. Yes.
Could he say it?
No, because you just said it. I'm not gonna say it's become like this is a game of chicken.
You see what I'm working with. You see what I'm working with here?
You see what I'm working with? He didn't even know to point this way. He pointed back here.
Okay, so just to round up,
like why do I have to say what you say?
Because I want us to both say the same thing. So by you saying
when I say yes, that means I agree with what Half Hope just said in English.
No, it doesn't. That's just you trying to be tricky. That's just you trying to be tricky and smart.
You can't get trickier than yes or no.
Don't get cute with me. I know you. Don't get cute with me.
I don't have tricks. Tricks are for kids.
Okay, so to round up this whole Ziyech thing, what do you think? What are your expectations for him for the rest of the season? He's match fit now. He's scoring goals.
Are you talking goals and assists or effect on the team? Or both?
Let's do. See, I hate the whole goals and assists thing because I'm like,
I'm not really with the goals and assists.
Yeah, I'm not a numbers guy. So let's just say his effect on the team. Because let me start off and then I'll jump off to you. I'm with you on this. This is where I give you kudos. Everything else I don't. This is only kudos I'm going to give to you. Is Kai Havertz. Before he came, I said, I'm using the eye test. You Twitter merchants, you said this guy is... No, the dude whom I ever comment, that's the dude Abdullahi. You absolute liar. And I'm going to hold him for it. You called him the German Zidane. I said, excuse me, what?
Just because he's German tall Zidane. In the midfield.
I was like, what are you on about? So Havertz is... See, I will never come up and call him a flop. All I'm saying is that I just don't see what the big deal was. And I said this before he even was on Chelsea's radar. I believe that if Ziyech stays fit, this is the key thing, it's a caveat. If Ziyech stays fit, I do feel he will end up being... I'm going to go on further. He will be in the conversation. Not definitely he will be in the conversation as one of the players of the season. I don't know whether he will be, but he will be in the conversation as Premier League player of the season. That's what I believe. Daniel, a.k.a. Danny T. a.k.a. that's your Ugandan dude.
I really hate Danny T, by the way, guys. I really hate this shit.
Man, Danny, look, man, have some fun, man. Have some fun, man. Danny T, man. Come on, have some fun, man. Come on.
No, right?
Because
right
I mean, half of
that actually is difficult to figure out where to point. So I take back my criticism. I take back my criticism.
There you go.
That's difficult.
So,
yeah, I think. What do I think? I think Ziyech will make the defense better because I think he's a better presser than what Willian and Pedro were offering last season, which should lead to, I don't know, just more possession for Chelsea, which will ease the burden on defensive midfield, the fullbacks and the defenders, or center backs rather, and in theory the goalkeeper. So I think that's good. I think. Oh, am I too loud?
Oh no! When you are shouting, it's hot in people's ears when you started to.
Oh,
shout.
sorry. I mean, I can go through and mess with the settings, but.
Oh, just give me what you just want to do for this damn season, man.
Where was I? So yeah, I think he'll make the defense better. I think he'll make the possession game better. I think he'll be able to link play with Reece James and the strikers and all of that stuff. I think he'll bring a bit of magic and genius that the Chelsea team didn't really have.
He's passing.
I'm getting there. I think, just his dribbling, his just ball retention, I feel like is superior to many players in the Chelsea team. Obviously, the passing range, which is why, I think last week we brought up that Chelsea should probably be playing with a recognized forward.
Giroud.
Because a Giroud or Tammy Abraham will make runs that I think are more traditional that he'll be able to find. And in terms of just goals and assists, if we want to make it that, or maybe just goals. Like the goal he scored against Krasnodar, I guess. How many goals did we see like that last season where somebody just decided, you know what, I'm just going to shoot? and he shoots and it goes in. And he has the skill and the technical proficiency to pull that off.
No, that wasn't.
Wasn't that Krasnodar?
That was where he sort of weaved and then hit the ball in. It was the game in the Premier League game. Yes, where the keeper missed. Where I was like, wait, how did the keeper not save it? It was the Premier League game where he just shot.
The Premier League game, okay. Burnley?
Yeah.
Might be. So, yeah. All of those things combined, I feel like he'll have a healthy impact on what Chelsea can accomplish. But again, like I was trying to say before, maybe I got a bit too loud, but I don't think it's going to have a sizable impact on where Chelsea go, because I think that the people above and below are kind of static in that sense. Like, you're not going to improve enough to catch Liverpool, and Manchester United, Arsenal, Spurs are all kind of in the same basket. So that's my point.
Conclusion?
No, that was the period. End of paragraph. Am I supposed to ask you a question?
Daniel, you'll never change, man. You'll never change. Let's deal with the positive stuff first, and then we can then get to the negative stuff. Actually, I do like doing bad news first, but for now, we'll stick with the good news. So, next bit of news. Let me just do my thingy check. I want us to talk about Mr. Mendy. And before I talk about just how good he is as a...
Can I start this one?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, you know what? Go for it. Do
you know what was really fun for me, Half Hope, was after the game against Rennes? Did you see all of his teammates just kind of run to him and like they jumped on... Oh, I guess I stole his point.
See, this is why in life you should nice guys finish last. Because I was about to say that I'm going to couple up with like a nice, interesting angle. But I was like, okay, you know what? He'll never think of that angle. Let me just give it.
He was like, okay, yeah, go ahead. He'll never say what I'm going to say, and then I say exactly what I'm going to say. No, I thought it was but go ahead. I mean, if you want to touch it first,
no. Look, you've already.
All right. So yeah, I thought it was really cool that like all of his teammates came and they were like so happy, like you made it. And I guess that just kind of shows what Rennes is in a sense, like how far this guy's come. And like he wasn't a professional goalkeeper 4, 5, 6 years ago. So yeah, I thought that was really cool that like his teammates were like literally gassed, like they were jumping on him, they were all smiling. It was a good scene. So that made me feel good for Mendy, man.
Yeah, no, for me like that is where I wanted to start off, because I was like, because football is interesting when you look beyond just the physical and just like the character of the person. Because my thing is, would they do that for every Rennes player who, let's say, made it to, let's say, you just take any random Rennes player and let's say he went to Chelsea or a Bayern and they play Bayern, would they have that same reaction? That must mean he was really liked in the dressing room. That there's something about him that really liked, because people will say, okay, are you saying that in every team or in a team like a Rennes who are at that level, they would react like that to every player that's left their club to play for a bigger club? I don't think so. I just think that just shows that, wow, look at the effect they had on the rest of the players in the team. So he must have been very well liked, very, very respected. It's similar to in All or Nothing, how Mourinho's assistant said, Sacco is like the most liked person in the dressing room. Similar to France, Lloris may wear the captain's armband, but Pogba seems to be the guy that everyone gravitates to in the dressing room. Like when I spoke to my Croatian co-worker in the office, he said that yes, Modric may wear the captain's armband, but Mandzukic is the spiritual leader of the whole team. So there is always that guy who is the guy that everyone goes to in the dressing room, that everybody is cool with. And obviously it's that. So when you look at that, it's almost translates to what he does as a keeper. Because my thing is that there are two aspects to goalkeeping. There's the stuff that every keeper should do, and some guys do better than other keepers, which is reflexes, degree of difficulty saves, ability to really reach saves that others can't redo, and your agility and so forth. But then the other aspect is the positioning thing. Mignolet is a very good keeper in terms of reflexes. He's extremely good. But the sorts of quote-unquote easy stuff he's not good at, which is just decision-making, catching, not making any mistakes, standing in the right place at the right time. Because, like I say, like David Seaman was a very good example. Seaman never really made crazy picture book saves. That's not because he couldn't reach this, because of his positioning. It's like you look at that save that Mendy made against Rennes, like in the second half, and it looks like, okay, this was like a sort of like a basic kind of save. But if that was Kepa, his positioning wouldn't be right. So therefore, he may not either make the save, or he would try to almost have to struggle to make it. It was a comfortable save for Mendy because he read the situation, positioned himself, which meant that he didn't have to exert himself.
Do you know what I like about Mendy as well is that he doesn't interfere when he's not needed. Yo, your internet seems a bit choppy. I don't. Maybe it's me, but like a cross will come into the box, or a free kick from an angle will come in, and some goalkeeper, like especially Caballero, more so than Kepa, he'll just try to come out and punch it. He'll flap at it when he can't get there, and that can knock off a defender from a position, and that can carry on to like somebody at the far post or something. Mendy seems to have a good awareness of where his far post is, near post is. And that cross, it seems dangerous, but I don't need to come and flail at it, tap it up, and now I'm in no man's land and they can score from it. So I think that's a good characteristic as well, that like he's very aware of what's on the pitch. And the more he gets accustomed to his teammates and talking with Silva, Zuma, whoever the fullbacks may be, they'll have that better communication, which should only improve what the defense is capable of. So,
you see, my thing here is that I don't believe that he's a world-class goalkeeper. And the saddest thing is, it just shows how bad Kepa was, or how bad Caballero is. That I know that Mendy isn't this supreme, amazing keeper on the level of like a Courtois when De Gea wants to keep, or a Ter Stegen or a Neuer. But Kepa was so bad and got the basics wrong that Mendy feels and seems like a world-class keeper. Like, oh, geez, wow, Mendy, this guy is supremely amazing. So, I think you still have to wait and see what happens afterwards. But I think there was a point that you made which was interesting, which is that don't overlook Thiago Silva and Zuma and that partnership. But my thing to you is that doesn't a composed keeper affect the performance of the two central defenders? Because psychologically, mentally, if you know...
Oh, my screen. It's my gold star. It's my gold star for knowing how bad Kepa was. Gold star. Gold star for me.
No. I mean, Kepa is just... I mean, what's the call? I mean, look, he decided it's just trying to be funny. Shout out to Super Chats. I hate Mendy. Shakes my head. I miss Kepa.
I agree. I can understand how one could reach that conclusion.
As a Man United fan, man. No. Look, I said for me, I just think like, you see, what do you think Kepa is thinking, looking at this 5 clean sheets in a row, hardly made any mistakes. The team seems transparent. If you're Kepa, are you like?
If I was Kepa and I was trying to justify why I was bad, I would say, well, I never got to play with multiple center backs who are the same people. Like, how come I can't play with Thiago Silva and Zuma and Chilwell and Reece James? I mean, if that's him, if I'm trying to justify it, that's what I would go for. Like, he has a better defense than I do, or I had. Maybe that's the justification. In reality, I don't know. Maybe he's just looking at it like, damn, like, I guess this guy's better than me.
For me, Kepa, I just think that, it's... I don't want to go too much into the whole Kepa thing, because I just think, like, it is what it is. He must have been good at... He must have looked good. He's come to Chelsea and he's looked bad, and I think that it's reached to a stage where you just have to just call it quits and so forth and so forth. But I think, like, see, I'm not getting carried away with the whole Mendy thing because there will be greater challenges ahead, and Chelsea now look good defensively. But I think once we now really get to deeper into the season, the Sevilla game in Seville, which is going to be a huge, massive game, and then hopefully further into the Champions League and so forth, then we'll now see how much he's tested. Because let's just be real, we've not really seen Mendy truly tested. It's where, okay, we're down one man, you're now saving, because really, he's saved on average 2-3 shots on target. Then try and go 5, 6, 7 shots on target against better strikers, better attackers. Now then, we'll then see what this guy going to do. Before we run with the whole Mendy thing, am I crazy in saying that making him a future captain should be on the cards? Because Azpilicueta for me is a trash captain. I don't know why he's only captain based on how long he's been there before.
He doesn't. Do we know if Mendy speaks the language yet?
Again, that's what people say. That he doesn't speak much English.
So who knows? I don't know if Azpilicueta stays for a season. Well, Silva will be here next year in theory, right? So he'll be captain. I'd like to see it go to Zuma personally, but
they won't give it to Zuma. Man. I mean, how old is Zuma?
26, maybe 25, but I think 26.
So actually, question: if you're a manager, what criteria do you choose to pick a captain? Your best player, the loudest person, or the person that people like the most in the dressing room?
Combination of 2 and 3.
So would it? Okay, so let's say you have a really loud person that not everyone will sort of gets along with, and you have a person that everyone likes but isn't very loud on the pitch. Who would you then choose?
I would tend to go with the person that gets along with more people in the team, because I feel like that would just be probably a better option. But I don't know. There's an argument to be had that the loud person who just says whatever he says, that's somebody you'd probably want arguing your case to a referee. Just like, no, that was a fucking wrong decision. Go VAR it. If somebody says it very tamely, might not happen. Somebody says it aggressively, you might be able to get it. So if you remember when Kepa wouldn't leave in the League Cup final and people were mad at Azpilicueta because Azpilicueta should have gone to his Basque brother essentially and been like, get the hell off the pitch.
That was the
moment. But he didn't.
That was the moment where I said that Azpilicueta shouldn't be captain. Like, when I saw it, I was like, no, he can't be the captain. Because that is where a captain must be like, look, you said, if that's Henderson is going to his English streets fish and chips bag and grabbing that to say, mate, get F off my, and grabbing him off. So when Azpilicueta was completely silent and had David Luiz was more animated in that situation as Azpilicueta.
That's why I thought David Luiz was always the natural next captain of the team, because he was just the personable guy that everybody liked. And I feel like that's Zuma. Like, Zuma seems to exhibit those personalities. Whether or not he's a leader in the way that you would think, oh, Steven Gerrard or John Terry or Sergio Ramos, I don't think he's that. But just the idea that people like him. And I would normally go for a defender or the goalkeeper. Like,
no. But my thing about this is that you can tell that David Luiz has leadership kind of qualities. Zuma is just a guy that people like,
but he's young. He's young, so I wonder, like, when you're 29,
26 isn't young.
As a defender, he still has like 10 years left, 8 years left.
In terms of football, 26 isn't young. In terms of just footballing, just general football age, it's not really young. So.
All
right. So now let's get to slightly negative.
Disagree with you on that one.
I know you will. You don't agree with me on anything. So I want to talk about Timo Werner.
Are we really going to talk about penalties?
Nope.
Okay. I don't want to talk about penalties. Who should be the penalty taker? Who cares?
Timo Werner isn't effective on the left. I get why he played on the left because of the injury for Pulisic. But Timo Werner is what Benzema is for Real Madrid right now. He is a striker who likes to move around, especially to move over to the left. That is very different from your position is on the left and there's a striker. Because you can see that when Timo Werner has the ball, see, when you're a wide man, you need to do one of two things. Either can you get to the byline and cross, or can you cut in and create that space for you to now take a shot on your stronger foot. He can't do either of those things. So when he has the ball, he just tries to use his speed to get past a player, and he's unable to, because trust me, Benzema, I don't know how much of Real Madrid that you watch, but Benzema is really good in the role that he plays for Real Madrid. Like, really good in, he can be a number 10, left, right. Wherever he is on the pitch, he is very, very effective, just based on just how good his football brain is, just how good of a footballer he is. But if you were to put Benzema just wide left, he wouldn't be the same player. You know, you would take away so much of the good stuff he does, where you say, no, this is your position. And let's say we have like Jovic, who plays as a striker. So the issue now arises that, as you just said, because when you mentioned Ziyech, you did mention Werner in terms of a guy crossing the ball. You mentioned Giroud, you mentioned Tammy Abraham. So where is Timo Werner's strongest position then?
He's a secondary striker. If you pay attention to what he was doing with RB Leipzig, he was playing off of Poulsen, and that gave him the freedom to go into that left half space, not necessarily as a winger, but just in that half space again, and to play off a recognized number 9. But Chelsea don't play with two up top. There's either a main striker and kind of inside forwards around him, or I guess they try to interchange, and, you know, nobody's anybody and everybody's everybody. So Werner doesn't have that. Or in theory, you could play him as the number 9 if you wanted to. And Lampard's tried that on a few occasions. It succeeded in some games, it hasn't in others. Don't ask me to give you names of the games. They kind of all run together for me. But when he plays out wide, I think you kind of laid the case bare. So I don't really need to go into it because I agree with you. But yeah, there's just no natural, like, you would want to kind of play him off of Giroud in a sense.
So okay, so what's the form? If you say you play him off of Giroud, what's the formation?
There isn't one that accommodates everybody else, which is the problem. If that solution was there, Lampard would have solved it. Really, the only thing I could think of is like 5-3-2.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you this. Let's say your Chelsea manager and Werner is a guy that's on the shortlist from the scouts. Do you buy him? So you see what he's done for Red Bull Leipzig, the goal and everything, and he's a guy that's been put off your shortlist at the end of last season.
If I'm Lampard and my idea is to play 4-2-3-1, I don't think so. But if he's the best available goal scorer, that not necessarily striker or wide forward, but if Frank is thinking, I need a goal scorer, and he's the best available for a price that was somewhere around 40 million euros, buy him and we'll see what we can do. So I can understand the purchase. I'm just not sure how great of a fit it is if you're not willing to play with two strikers. Because Werner, as you say, he's not a natural wide player. If anybody's playing on the left, make it Pulisic, because that's what he does. Werner, you can tell he's like, I can do this, but I shouldn't be doing this.
It doesn't come naturally to me. You know, it's not second nature to me as much as it is for a Pulisic or a Ziyech.
And I get the same kind of feeling from Havertz whenever he plays out wide. It's like, I can do this, but I shouldn't really be doing this. From Mount, it's, I can't do this. Why are you making me do this? Where at Ziyech is like, play me anywhere, bro.
Okay, let's say you're not Lampard. You're just Daniel Tulloch, Chelsea manager, and so forth.
Coming soon.
Do you buy? Actually, Yeah, because we need to do our Football Manager.
Yeah, well, when Football Manager 21 drops, we'll make it happen. Yeah, but what's the question? What would I have done?
So if forget your Lampard, do you buy Werner and then change the formation to accommodate him? I play with the two strikers, Werner off of Giroud, and they just change. Because then if you then do that, I don't think you buy Kai Havertz.
I think I do. Because I think, okay, I have Werner, I have Giroud up top, I have Ziyech on the right, Pulisic on the left. Then it becomes a little bit of a tricky situation. It's like, how much can I get out of N'Golo Kante without injuring him? And if I can, then I can play Kovacic and I can play Kante together in midfield, or Kante and Jorginho. Just some combination of creator and destroyer. And then the back four is kind of the back four. Give me my goalkeeper. I don't think if you save the money on Havertz, so to speak, then I can go get an Oblak and goal. So I would have reprioritized how Chelsea spent their money. I wouldn't have put 100 million into Havertz or 70 million, whatever it was.
So you say you would get Werner or you wouldn't get Werner?
I'd get him, but then he'd have to play off Giroud or Tammy Abraham,
and you would put the Kai Havertz money into other areas.
Yeah, I'd have got a better left back than Chilwell, and I'd have got a better goalkeeper than Mendy. Okay. Or I'd have bought an outright center back instead of Thiago Silva on a free.
For me, it makes sense, because. But again, I said like this is if you're not Lampard. I think Lampard.
But that's if I'm trying to put Werner in the team, right? Or if I buy him, then I have to change the team to fit him. And if you can give me the names of goal scorers who are available for a decent price in the COVID window, I'll gladly take suggestions, of who Chelsea could have got that can score 30 to 40 goals in a season. But if Werner's the only real name available, or the easiest name to be made available, then yeah, you buy him. But then the team has to change. But is Lampard going to come out and play 4-4-2? I don't think so.
Okay, so what's it got? So let's just see some comments. It says Frank Lampard bought Havertz to help Werner as a target man without playing two strikers. When Havertz is back, you'll see it. So I see. So are you then saying that Werner as a striker and Havertz in behind him, and then they will then walk off of each other? I think that's what he's saying, based on their combination for Germany.
So the 4-2-3-1 becomes a 4-2-2-2?
I suppose, yeah. But my thing is that how much faith do you have in... Put it this way. I have more faith in a Giroud and Werner partnership than in a Havertz and Werner partnership.
Again, if you have Ziyech, and part of the thing about Ziyech is crossing, who's getting onto the end of those crosses? Kai Havertz is the one getting onto the end of the crosses? It would just make sense. Okay, and so we're in build-up play. The ball's going out wide. It might come back centrally. Havertz, if Werner's supposed to play off Havertz, then Havertz is going to be near the D area. That would make more sense. And Havertz would be Werner would be the one running in behind. So Werner's the one trying to get into the box. The ball goes out wide. Maybe you say Havertz makes late runs and he gets onto the end of Ziyech headers, but really, you'd think Werner would be the one that Ziyech would aim for in those situations, right? So,
I think this
give me my striker, basically.
Oh no, you always insult me for it. Two strikers. I always say that strike partnership.
Yeah, but you make it seem like it's the solution to everything.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Stop
two
it,
strikers.
Stop it. No, stop it.
Two strikers. World peace, two strikers. Starvation, two strikers. Famine, two strikers.
If you had two strikers, you could solve famine in lots of places. Put two strikers, we will know who the American president is right now.
Imagine, Trump and Biden up top. Trump is clearly the target man, and Biden would be like walking, playing off him like. Actually, no. Maybe Biden would be the target man. Trump seems like he has more energy to run in behind.
I'm just trying to think. Do you know how they do like Champions League thingy? The champions, and they just basically stand And you just see like Trump with the jerseys. That's sick.
That's sick.
Yeah, no, that's it. No, what? But see, this is similar to what you're saying. Like, Paulson is a brick. Paulson is a.
This is what
brick.
you say about Giroud. Giroud is a useful brick.
He's a useful brick.
But I think he shrugged the term Giroud at this point. I don't think you can call him a brick, really. He's just unranked.
Basically, he's flips between unranked and being like a useful brick. But see, this is interesting in terms of like, yeah, Paulson is a semi-brick, but does his job as a target man. Werner, he benefited a lot from him because Mbappe, Griezmann, all these dudes benefited a lot from Giroud at the World Cup.
Do you know what I think? Do you know how Atletico used to play with Costa and Griezmann? I think it was. Or
yeah.
Who was playing off Costa in 2013-14? Was it Griezmann? Or was Griezmann at Sociedad at those times?
Oh, no.
Which?
Yeah, Griezmann wasn't there for their La Liga win, so I'm not sure who it was. Might have been Carrasco, maybe?
Whoever it was. How Atletico used to play, that could be how maybe Chelsea might play. In this scenario, anyway.
All right. Oh, and I think this is one of our partnering guys, Ibrahim. Thanks to the door. What's poppin', Danny T and the HH. Those anecdotes on the extra were very amusing. I appreciate the content. Big ups to the both of you. Merci
don't
beaucoup. Super
chat it. Just write those in the Don't waste your money, bro. You could have put that in the Patreon comments and saved £5, man. But thank you.
No. Thank you for that, man. Look, man, I'm not one to tell guys how to use their Kakarina. But
I'm not one to tell me not to give me money.
Look, man,
I am though. I'm a person who's like that. Oh, don't give me money if you don't need to. Thank you. It means a lot.
Sleepy Joe will be a Giroud. I think Giroud is far more active than Biden.
Imagine Joe is Giroud and Kamala Harris is like Werner.
So basically, she's basically the one doing. But see, that thing is that Giroud is actually more active. Like, no, Joe Biden is literally like a vacuum. Like Joe Biden is fully inactive, man. So. Yeah, I don't even know from my thing about that. So it's like,
what are people saying in England? Like, what are the projections in England? Are they saying Biden's gonna get it, or it's still?
I'll agree with you. I don't watch much English terrestrial TV, man.
What's Arise News up to? Are they not focused on it? It's still NSARS or?
Yeah. I think it's more like NSARS kind of thing. Yeah. I don't see where.
NSARS, by the way.
NSARS. Look, man, keep that thing away. See, I'm not sure what this is about. See, he said he wanted me to half of 3-3-4 is the formation Inter played last season. Would a 3-3? Do you mean 4-3-3 or do you really mean 3-3-4?
I've never heard 3-3-4. So
yeah, like
let me draw a picture quickly.
Is 3-3-4?
So that would be three. So that would be.
Want 4 strikers?
That would be 3 center backs,
3 midfielders, and 4 strikers. And maybe are the wingers then coming in as just like wing backs, and the winger basically are the wide attackers like playing the length of the pitch or something? Or
okay, when he says 3-3-4, I think he means 3-5-2. So we have the center backs here. That's his 3. Then he has a midfield 3, which isn't really a midfield 3. And then the 4 up there. But these top 2, these top 2 need to come down into defense. And that would make 5-3-2. Or, yeah, 5-3-2. That's what he means.
Okay.
And it's Antonio Conte, so I can very much guess 3-5-2 is what he means.
Okay, so before we just get to our...
it's very difficult to look at the thing, like, appreciate weather people. Have you ever seen what weather people do where, like, in order to point left, they need to go right?
Yeah. They basically just do the opposite. You just have to just retrain your brain. So shout outs for the dub. It's a Daniel Jones or Taker. Thank you very much. Legends. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. And Ibrahim says, it was a donation to show my appreciation. Thank you very much. Thank you. Again, I appreciate the donations. There'll be a video about that tomorrow. You'll see. So,
what's going on?
What do you mean?
What's up? What's happening tomorrow?
You'll see. No, it's just like a video just to explain, the future of the football. Just, an overall update kind of thing.
Things are changing?
Not much, just some clarity as to moving forth, especially because we are officially in a lockdown. The UK.
So you have more time to create?
So yeah, from now till December 2nd, we are in lockdown mode. Lampard. Based on the winning run that Chelsea have been on, 5 clean sheets, defense looking solid, those 2 draws look a bit hairy, but back-to-back wins, very impressive win against Krasnodar, no doubt, convincing win against Rennes, good win against Burnley. You maybe kick things off. You kick things off. Lampard, kicking things off, set things in motion. You take the lead on this. Lampard.
I was just reading on. Apparently, like Trump came out and said, like, he said the mail-in ballots are cheating. He's not gonna leave. Basically, that's what he's basically said. He's like, because before we came on, he said he was going to speak from the White House, but yeah, he's like, if you don't, you know why he did that? Because Joe Biden came out and spoke. So he was like, if Biden comes out and speaks, now I have to speak. Yeah. And then when he comes out and speaks, he's saying like, the votes are fake. It's a fraudulent election. This guy, man, he's going full African dictator at this point. It's not like we didn't warn you. But anyway, what do you want to know about Lampard?
No. So kick things off. How should we attack this whole Lampard topic? You kick it off now.
I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about him recently.
It's okay. Okay. Let me.
Actually, it's mostly kind of sort of positive. So if you want me to talk about Lampard, I'll give him congratulations for not changing the center back partnerships. Mm-hmm. I like the experiments that he's been doing with Conte. The fact that he subbed him off when he needed to. I like that. Maybe you could criticize him for actually, no, you couldn't even, because of Pulisic's injury. He's just kind of done what he needed to do. So he hasn't gotten in his own way, which I think has been largely his problem for the past 18 months. Mm-hmm. We'll see if that trend continues. If it does, then that's a net positive. I've never been on like Lampard out or anything like that. I'm just a critical observer in that sense. So yeah, there's nothing really. I can't get on here and slate him. In fact, I think I'd give him praise just for being not bad, more so than being good.
Do you feel that he is sort of now settled down in being like, okay, I know if everyone is fit, I know my information.
I think so. Like, and even
what makes you say that then? What?
Mount isn't playing on the wing anymore. Like Mount isn't playing on the wing anymore. Mm-hmm. When he plays centrally. Yeah. So that tells me that Lampard has decided, okay, or at least he's trending in the direction where I'm going to start playing players in their natural positions, or at least they're not natural position. So for Mount, like that means if you play as a number 10 or as a number 8, but we're not going to play you on the wing anymore because we have the numbers. So you would have thought when Pulisic goes down, this is my chance to play Mount in midfield. He didn't do it. So that tells me, okay, he just moved Werner out and put Abraham in. If he was overthinking it, you just take Mount out, you put in Kovacic or another midfielder from midfield, and you play him out wide. That's what he would have done 3 weeks ago, but it's not what he's doing now. So, you get a gold star.
No, for me, I think, look, I just hope that Lampard sticks with this mindset where Ziyech is back, Ziyech has that unlock. When Pulisic gets back, okay, it's not a decision between him and Werner and that whole left side. But I think the key thing you have Mount. When Mount is centrally, that is where he is best and where he's most effective and can do the most damage. I'm going to ask you something else differently. Defense, boom, all good. Boom, boom, boom. Zuma and Silva, that is the central defensive partnership. Let them hold that. If you're Lampard, So if you're Lampard, do you do it? Is it a 4-3-1 or is it a 4-3-3? Or it's dependent on the opposition?
I don't really care either way. Like the differences between 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1 don't jump out to me as something that's crazily different. You just invert the midfield. That's all it is. It's the same formation, just an inverted midfield. So if I could land though, if you play 4-3-3, then you can either play Kanté at the base and be defensive, or you could play Kanté in a more advanced role with Jorginho as the holding. But if you play 4-2-3-1, you're probably going to play either Kanté and Jorginho together, and they would do similar things in that pivot. But what you then would have was just a pure number 10. But the other midfielder in the 4-3-3 would obviously be a more number 10-ish player anyway.
Not
necessarily. Obviously, you could play Kovacic and Kanté, Jorginho together, and that could be more solidity. But I feel like more times you play 4-3-3 with Jorginho, Kanté, Mount, or if you need to be more progressive, you could play. Who's the other midfielder other than Mount that could play in midfield? Because you could have Kanté at the base in like a Makalele role, and then just two out and out attacking midfielders. Havertz, I guess. So you could play Havertz and Mount together. So yeah, I guess I would prefer 4-3-3 against teams you need to break down, because that allows for Havertz and Mount to play in midfield together, and then you always have Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi, out and out striker, or Werner, and then on the right, Ziyech, I guess, is winning that side. So, but in any other game, you play Bayern Munich, it could go either way. Do what you want. It's not really that big of a deal to me.
No, because my thing is, I still feel like Kovacic is.
He's been disrespected, actually. He's not really playing, but he was the player of the season. So I'd like to see him play more.
Because I'm done with the whole Mount bashing thing. Like, that's not happening, because again, it's like a broken record. But Kovacic, for me, is a very good central midfielder. And for me, I feel that he has to play.
He's the best ball carrier in the team.
And the most press resistance player in the team. So he has to play. And I think it's him and Kanté. That is really the ideal midfield partnership. And if it is 4-3-3, you probably put in a Jorginho in there. Or if maybe you need some energy and the guy to roam, you may have a place for Mount. But I think the two stalwarts must always be Kanté and Kovacic.
I think when we see Chelsea in big games, I bet you they'll play more Kanté at the base. Or no, Jorginho at the base, Kanté, Kovacic as the two box-to-box midfielders. And then we'll see what Lampard really does with Mount. Because if you're playing against a Liverpool, say, or a big game in the Champions League, does he play Mount on the right or on the left, perhaps, to press? Or does he keep with Ziyech, Pulisic if he's fit, Werner, or does he put Werner on the left and play Giroud to bring him in? So to bring in the inside forwards, I mean. So we need a big game to actually see, like, what is his big game philosophy.
Tottenham coming up, and of course the game in Seville against Sevilla, which will pretty much decide.
But against smaller teams, just play players in their right positions, or at least just against teams that respect you, Put it that way. Play players in their natural positions. If a team doesn't respect you and they're here to play their own game, then okay, you can match up a little bit, and just try not to get blown out.
Yeah. All right. What's it called? Let me. Do you have any other things to bring up, or should we just take some commenters?
Where are the others?
Oh, actually, almost forgot. Let me even. It's 104. Oh shit! Sorry, 105.
We've been running our mouths for an hour.
I know. So let me actually send them the thingies though. Do you think we win the group, Champions League group?
I don't know who this we is, but you talking French now? Do Chelsea win the group? Probably. Yeah, I think they do. But they have to get something in Seville, which is not an easy place to play. So,
but okay. So, what is your confidence level then that they would be able to get something in Seville?
Like a 4 out of 10.
Damn, 4.
5 out of 10, somewhere in there. Barcelona struggled to play there. Real Madrid struggled to play there. So Chelsea are just going to come and take 3 points? Nah. I don't think that's a thing. So, hey, Abdullahi, what's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm doing well.
What's up?
I'm good.
So, wait, can't you move your thing landscape, man? Because this is always weird to look at, man.
I was like, yo, did it do it? What did it do? Okay.
Okay. So I would like just look, man. General thoughts so far. So you've kept on saying that you want Allegri back. That Lampard is useless.
Yep.
5 clean sheets, a win on the weekend. A win against in the 2 wins in the Champions League, a win on the weekend. Are you do you still have the same sentiment they have against Lampard, or are you now Lampard is in and he will deliver you the treble?
The reason I said I want Lampard is because when you see Mason Mount playing on the wing and you have a proper winger on the bench, that comes forward with the concern. Like, we are looking at the bench and I'm seeing Odoy on the bench. I'm like, Lampard, why are you playing this guy on the bench? Why are you playing Mason Mount on the wing? I know Odoy is not informed, but at least give him a run of games. Let's see how good he can be or how good he is. You can't just be playing player based on, let me say, because he's a midfielder, you want to keep playing on the wing. That's my hypothesis on Frank Lampard. But in terms of Lampard, I'm not Lampard out. All I want is play player in the right position.
So you're no longer advocating for Allegri.
I wasn't Lampard house from the start. All I was advocating for is play player on their right position. Then we can go. But if you are playing player on their wrong position, there's gonna be a problem. Fans is gonna be coming out and be bashing and be criticizing you. That was where the issue was. I was like, this team doesn't have an identity. I need Allegri, someone that can win.
Adi, thoughts so far on Chelsea, man? Do you think Lampard has finally gotten this team playing how they want to play? Do you think Lampard is the man to lead Chelsea into a bright blue future?
How you going, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Your mic is pretty bad, man.
Yeah, your mic is a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, I'm just at work at the moment, so using a different set of mic. But
okay.
If it's too bad, let me know. Just in terms of Lampard, what I'll say is, he's finally doing his job. Playing players in the right positions. We can see the defense is. I don't want to say. 5 clean sheets speak for itself, but improving is, it's something I'll say in terms of communication and organization. The attack, I think, is still got some ways to go, which I think is scary. And yeah, I think for now he's doing his job. So I don't have anything bad to say personally. Just don't want to see him playing Mount on the wing or something like that. Because if you look at last season, the game against Burnley is a perfect example. Last season, with Pulisic out, he could have easily put Mount on the wing and put Jorginho there because they're going to kick the ball. But I think he's starting to realize now that he needs to play players in the right positions. And Chelsea can move forward with that.
Okay, so let's just so guys, send in some questions. We'll take some questions now for next 20 or so minutes. So send in questions. Does Loftus-Cheek or Gilmour have a future at Chelsea? I would like it. You can set this off.
I think Gilmour has a future because he's injured now. So I think he's gonna come back after the international break. He has a future. In terms of Ruben, the problem with Ruben is he needs consistent game. That was why he was being sent to Fulham to have that consistent game. Lampard already told him he has a future in Chelsea, but he has to be consistent first. Let's see your consistency towards like 38 full matches in the APL before we can just push you in the season. He's been injured for so many years. So we can't just put him in the team and say, yeah, play this team, play this position. It's not possible that way. So in terms of that, I think Gilmour will have more future than Ruben because Gilmour will play more consistent matches. And for me, I'm not a fan of Jorginho. I keep saying it. I'm not a fan of Jorginho. I'm not. I would rather play...
Wait. Why are you not a fan of Jorginho?
All what Jorginho do, sideways pass. That's what they do. Sideways passes.
But sometimes he plays those balls over the top as well.
There are some matches when I see Timo Werner and Kai Havertz make moves, and you see Jorginho holding on to the ball, and you saw those moves. Then he pass back again. I was like, Jorginho, use your brain. You are with the ball. Pass. You see someone running. Pass the ball. Why are you passing back again? So I would rather play Gilmour, who will look up like, oh, I saw this player, then he will pass the ball. Someone like Iniesta or Xavi, who will see you and give you that ball. That's gonna play like Gilmour is. But Jorginho is like pass sideways. So I would prefer Gilmour more than Ruben because Ruben has been injured for many years. So he will need game time to get himself together.
I would lean more. Well, if you go by age, it'll be Gilmour, right? And if you go by who I think Lampard and Morris want more in the team, you'd go with Gilmour. Who do I think Who do I think the team needs more of? I would probably go with Loftus-Cheek because I think you have 3 central midfielders in Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic, who are more in like the bottom half of the midfield, I would say. But in the top half of the midfield, you have, I guess, 4 players really in that position. If you think about who's on loan and who's in the team, so Mount, Havertz, Loftus-Cheek, and Ross Barkley. Of Ross Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I lean to Loftus-Cheek, but I guess we'll have to see because what Barkley's doing with Villa is pretty impressive. So he could overtake him in that ranking. But who would I want the third attacking midfielder to be? I'd prefer it to be Ruben. So, plus I think you could get more money for Barkley if he does well than you could for Ruben if he does well. So
the issue is, I think Jorginho may go because I'm hearing Declan Rice. I've not.
Well, that would be 1 in, 1 out in like the bottom portion of the midfield. So.
Exactly. So I've not watched more of Declan Rice. I haven't watched more of it. But
and if Rice comes in, that's taking Gilmour's spot in a sense. So
that's taking Jorginho's spot because Jorginho's more of a passer. So I think
I think eventually Gilmour is playing in that base of a midfield, of a midfield 3, and that's where you would play Rice. No.
Yeah,
so,
but I think Rice work more as a pivot than as a normal team. He work more on the 4-2-3-1 than the 4-3-3. So
I spare myself watching West Ham. So.
Wait, are you guys in support of Chelsea getting Declan Rice?
No. But it could be a fait accompli in terms of we don't have any control over it, and that's probably what they're gonna do. So you might as well just go ahead and accept it. Basmati rice, long grain rice.
Oh, okay. So is
sticky rice? Declan Rice.
Do you think Declan
Chinese rice?
Which is just pretty good as well.
Rice and peas.
Special fried rice is very good.
Orange chicken and Declan Rice is what's coming.
So okay, so do you think Declan Rice is a thing of he's actually good, or it's like a thing of English quarter?
I think it's like 20% he's good, 80% he's English. Maybe 25% he's good, 75% he's English.
I think it's more Lampard pushing for it than the club in a way.
Me
Because
too.
you look at, for example, the Ben Chilwell signing. It was Lampard going, "I want this guy, get me this guy," and that's what Declan Rice kind of reminds me of. Because in the same position, we have Chelsea looking at other players like Sumare from Lille. And there's another player they're looking at which I can't remember. But
Then
I
is
think
Zakaria from
Declan
Borussia
Rice is more.
Mönchengladbach.
Then is Zakaria from
Borussia
Mönchengladbach.
Mönchengladbach.
So I think Rice is more Lampard saying this is the player I want based on the English players he knows, because he got his badges in England and he knows most of the England players. He's watched Declan Rice in the Chelsea academy before where he came up from. So I think it's more of a Lampard thing. The other players are more players the club is looking at. So it'll be just them sitting down and saying, okay, who do we want? Who do we want to get? All right, let's get this guy. So that's what I think it comes down to at the end of the day.
What's it called? Do Pulisic's injuries worry you guys?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Because in Borussia Dortmund also, he has ton of injury. Because that's what I said. I think we will need another wingers apart from Pulisic. Because this injury is getting me worried. That's why Timo Werner has been playing on the left wing. Lampard doesn't want to play him on the left wing, but he has no choice. Because he doesn't trust Cho a lot to play in a more left wing. That's why I'm worried about. Okay, if Pulisic keep getting injured now, then they have to go into the market and buy it. Who is the winger that outside now? Just for me, in my head now, it's just two: Kylian Mbappe and Jadon Sancho. I am very sure Roma will not pay that money for Kylian Mbappe. That's too much. And for Sancho, it's way too much. So I don't know. The injury worries me. I do not know. The only player I can think of that I say, okay, maybe if Timo Werner play on the left, maybe he could play like in the more of I think Ziyech role. Maybe when Ziyech is not that fully fit, if he's injured, Samuel Chukwueze. But how good is Chukwueze? That's my work. That's my.
He still needs to refine his game.
He's
not
too
there
raw.
yet.
Samuel
He's very raw.
Too raw, very raw player. So how good is he? That's my issue. That's a risk. You can't take that. Yeah, you can take that risk and it works out. But how good? If you can't just spend 80 million or 90 million on a player, who like the.
I think.
What do you mean by worry me? Like.
So do you think that this could be? Remember Robin at Chelsea where he was really good, helped Chelsea win that league based on what he did, but then he then got injured and just kept getting injured again and again and again and again. And his Chelsea career just got to derail based on all of that.
You know what worries me more? You know what injury worries me more? Is Callum Hudson-Odoi tearing his Achilles as an 18-year-old. That worries me more than Pulisic. So yes, on the scale of worry, I'm like if like a Ronaldo R9 injury is like a 10, like missing years of your career or something like that. Pulisic's concurrent or chronic muscle injuries is like a 5, maybe a 4. Tearing your Achilles tendon as a 17, 18-year-old kid, maybe 19, that's like a 7. You have to like relearn how to walk and all that kind of stuff. It's why Loftus-Cheek, it hasn't been the same, because he had to take off a year and
because of that racial match that he had to play.
Did you guys ever see the pictures of like how big his whichever leg was messed up, like the muscle difference between each leg, because he just couldn't use it. Like it's crazy. So yes, Pulisic worries me. Yeah, but on the scale of worry, not as much as other things.
Eddie?
I think it's a pretty big worry, because I think for Borussia Dortmund, he missed about 64 games or so. I was looking at
I think 70.
And over 2 years at Chelsea, he's already missed about 30-something games. That should be a worry for us, because your best ability is being available. If you're not available, we can't use you. So if we can only get 20-something games from you when we should really be getting 40, then I think that's going to be a bit of a worry. And that's something I was kind of worried of with Chelsea going into the season with 3 wingers, and one of our wingers is still recovering from a long-term injury. So it is a bit of a worry this season for me. And I hope we can bring someone in January. I just don't know who we can bring in.
I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna spend money in January. It may be in the summer, but January I doubt it. The only thing that can make us spend money is Cho. If Cho goes to Bayern, then maybe we'll spend money.
Wait, Daniel, what the heck is so funny?
Somebody on TV, he said Trump is an obese turtle on its back flailing in the sun. they called him an obese turtle.
imagine saying if they go for early voting, it's gonna win, but if they do Magomago, it's gonna lose. Are you kidding me, really?
Okay, so just to round this up, because I think obviously we didn't have Eddie and Abdullahi here. Thoughts on Ziyech and what you think Ziyech could do or achieve for the rest of this season? I'll come first to Eddie. What do you expect of Ziyech for this season?
I mean, first of all, did you see the third goal against who did we play yesterday?
Rennes? No, because he didn't score against Rennes.
Yeah, I know, but the third goal against Rennes is a perfect example of what I was talking about last week.
Oh yeah,
creating the space for Reece James, and we talked about the striker making the near post run. That was a perfect example of something he can do Chelsea. Never mind the things that he can do on the ball, which we've also seen in previous games, Burnley and so. I mean, we said it pretty much last week. He is going to change a lot in that Chelsea attack. The combination with himself and Havertz, fingers crossed he can recover quickly and come back firing. Him, Havertz, Reece James will be deadly once they have that understanding amongst each other and that chemistry continues to build. And then, like I mentioned last week, as long as we have boys like Tammy and Werner or Pulisic on the other side finishing, I expect him to be one of the best players this season. Although not the signing of the season, because we've got about 3 or 4 defensive signings that's looking awesome so far. He, I think, will be our most important attacking signing this season. I feel.
Abdullahi.
For me, if Ziyech is fully fit and is not injured, I will call him player of the season.
Automatically,
yeah. If it's one
and you blame me for hyping a player and gassing a player up.
The problem with you is when you gas a player, that guy became a ghost for the whole entire season. That comes with Hazard. So then Jason Hazard was injured for like one and a half years. It didn't even show up. That was not the Hazard we saw in Chelsea.
Okay. So why do you have faith that if Ziyech is fit, he'll be player of the season?
It is because we know how good Ziyech is from the highest, from the Eredivisie, how good he is for the highest team. So his creativity, his passing range, and the ability to open spaces for others to come in. That's how good he is. Like, yeah, he's a proper left winger, but you can see this. You can see how he plays from the Burnley matches to the Rennes match. You can see. So look at his decision making in that Chelsea team. His decision making is his IQ is there. So we know, this kind of player is a world class player. If he's fully fit, I would say player of the season for me. But the problem with him, he has to be consistent to show it on the bigger, not against Burnley. I want him to show it against Man City, Liverpool.
So the big games.
Yes. So
against Sevilla in Seville.
If you go further, it's Sevilla. If you go further, show it against maybe Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern. Show it, then we can have a discussion about that. But because a lot of people are making a discussion about him better than Mahrez, but it's way too high at the moment. But he has to show it first because Mahrez has already shown it already in the EPL. He has to show himself first, but to be considered better and much better player than Riyad Mahrez.
All right, man. Look, as I said again, Chelsea looking good so far, but I said again, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a long season, and there are going to be many ups and downs. And I am not ready to really give a call as to what will happen with Chelsea this season.
Can we take some critical comments? Okay, y'all sound clueless. I love Kova, but Mount offers more. 4-3-3 is the way to go. It opens up more passing angles, and with Ziyech and Pulisic dropping deep, we don't need that ball carrier as before.
I have worried with that formation. I have worried with it. I have an issue with that formation. The reason is because if you play too much attacking against a team like Liverpool, we will get circumcised. I'm serious. Massive circumcised because
you need a proper midfielder.
Yeah, I'm saying it now.
How can you be massively? Let's not.
Okay, yeah.
It just is or it isn't. Like you can't be massive.
Yeah,
anyway.
look, listen, I don't want to envision that. So just continue. Just continue.
It's your word. It's your fault, though. It's your fault. It's your dictionary, Double H. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Reason is because when you play Mason Mount and Kai Havertz, those are very attacking players. You leave Kante as a DM. Yes, you can do a proper DM, but you need to support someone that can cover up for Kante in Kovacic. Yeah, it may not be the best carrier of the ball, but when you play him alongside Kante, you know when Kante goes forward, someone is there to hold up to the attacking player. If you play Liverpool, it can get present, it won't run at you. You are leaving spaces in the midfield, then you leave Kante with no space. You're gonna be doing job of one person. It's gonna be doing more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't make any sense. You need to cover up. Kovacic is more okay in that position because when Kante goes forward, he covers for Kante, which is more
and also
effective.
You need somebody who is okay. Mate, what if you play against like a Liverpool or Man City, a team who press very well?
Mm-hmm. When you play like,
can you trust Mount in possession of the ball if it's pressed? Jorginho, we know when Jorginho is pressed, he just falls apart.
Yeah.
So without Kovacic, you need a guy who, okay, all in that. Which is why I will use this example, William Carvalho. When in doubt, look for him. You know that if we give him the ball, he is going to protect the ball. He's going to keep possession of the ball if in doubt. You cannot be certain that giving the ball to a Jorginho, a Mount, even a Kante in the heat of the midfield, they will be able to keep control of the ball if they've been pressed.
Kovacic is he's trusted hands or trusted
100% trusted. So things like Kovacic, for me, he has to play, but especially against those big teams who press, Kovacic is vital.
I think the reason Lampard has not.
But it wouldn't be 4-3-3 in that instance. I don't think. I think he'd play Kante and Kovacic as the two at the base, and then have a number 10.
I think that's the reason he has been going for Declan Rice, because Declan Rice is more of a 4-2-3-1 for Declan Rice is a proper. He can't play on the 4-3-3 formation. He can only play in a 4-2-3-1.
Okay, so Declan Rice is what's like in. So if Rice comes, he's there to replace who? Kante?
No, if Rice comes in, he's gonna play alongside Kante. It's gonna be like a 4-2-3-1 formation.
So it's gonna be. I think Lampard's. I think Lampard's vision is to use him as a DM. I think Lampard's vision is to use him as a lone DM because
exactly.
He said the same thing as
basically it's like that's Mourinho meme, man, where he basically removes his headphones. Like the heck, we go for Eddie. Go for it.
I think Lampard's problem is he wants a DM who can. I think he's looking for a combination of the best qualities of Kante and Jorginho. Someone who can break the lines and also protect the defense. In terms of passing the ball and also organizing, people in front of them, which is what I think he's in Declan Rice. And it's pretty wild to say Declan Rice will come in to replace Kante because I don't see it as well. But hey, it's Lampard right now.
Gentrification at its peak. Gentrification.
Basically, it's like the Mourinho meme, man. Where's like the heck? That's just nasty. Replace Kante. See, this thing annoys me is because Lampard may try. See, if Lampard brings in Declan Rice because of this English agenda to replace N'Golo Kante,
I don't even think it's an English. I think it's a bias more than an agenda. He might not even think about it. It's just, that's a player that was at the Chelsea Academy. We know what he can do. He's best friends with Mason Mount. He's from London, or I don't know, maybe he's from Ireland or something. But he plays for a team in London. Put it that way. Bring him, and we can probably get him for a decent price in their mind.
That is why in a long time I seen Lampard playing the 4-2-3-1. They're playing 4-3. That's what the reason they're going for Declan Rice, just to play him together with Conte. That's the reason. He has no reason. You can't put Conte on the bench. That's a world-class player. You can't. Lampard can't do that stupidity. He cannot even do it. Can't. Because Conte has been.
But my question is, if he plays him with Conte, who then sits? Or
if he plays with Conte,
because
Declan Rice will sit more.
In the 10.
Yeah, Declan Rice will sit more at the TM. Then Conte will just move forward.
I mean, who plays between? I mean, obviously the answer is obvious, but how does it sit Mount instead of Conte? Because Mount is on.
Mount will come from the bench. He won't start. Mount won't start the match.
Are you sure?
Sure? There's a reason he's playing. There's a reason he's going for Declan Rice. There's a reason. He can't put.
Are you sure Mount will come from the bench?
He will. But Lampard. But we have to just.
I see Lampard. I see Lampard playing a Rice, Mount, and Havertz midfield. I don't know about you guys, but
it's possible.
It's very possible out of nowhere.
It's possible. Lampard could do it.
All right, guys. Look, man. Thank you for everyone rolling in, man. Oh gosh, what's this guy? Wait, Mr. Gatlock's comments, man. So, guys, look, man. Thank you and look, next week. Actually, because I think the Sevilla game is week 5, so that's still like a long way away.
I meant to say he's friends, Gatlock, as a way to bolster the point that he came from the Chelsea academy, not that because he has a friendship that he's going to be signed, but you know.
Look, any final words, guys? Any final words before we exhume, sir?
Rice. What did Eddie say that they were gonna go? Rice, Mount, and who? Havertz.
Yep.
What in a 4-3-3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Non-melanated midfield, bro.
That's Lampard. That's Lampard.
Hey, it's Lampard.
I think if I see that midfield start a Champions League game, man, I think this will go from the complicated Chelsea show to the non-Chelsea show.
Non-Chelsea show.
like that. You see, that would literally, I would literally puke in my mouth if I see a Havertz, Rice, and you're basically pissing on Chelsea's
You
badge.
should not be surprised. It's Frank Lampard. So why am I surprised? I'm not surprised. I am not.
No, you see, my thing about Lampard is that, because my fear is that he feels that he's holding the flag for England, and he feels that it is his duty to have strong English representation in Chelsea. That's all well and good, but Lampard, you need to realize that this is Chelsea Football Club. This is a separate institution. Inter Milan won the treble without a single Italian player in their first 11. And do you think any Italian guy is like, oh my gosh, what the hell happened? So my thing about it is that, yeah, man, that can't happen. If that happens, I think I'm going to have a discussion with Lampard face to face, because that's just, you're just pissing in people's faces. And I just think, as Daniel said, Kovacic has been really disrespected, because Kovacic has reached the point where no, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. So,
but I can disagree a little bit with what you said about Kovacic. It's not been informed ever since.
Abdullahi, we can only see your mouth. I can't even see your.
Okay, I said I can disagree a little bit with what you said, because Kovacic has not been informed when the season starts. So that's the reason he has not been playing him. If you are informed, he will play you. He's not been informed. So whenever you play, you see him losing possession, playing back passes and co. So it's not been that really much informed. He needs to get his form on a consistent level. Then Lampard, I'm sure he's the best player last season. Lampard would love to play him, but it's not been informed. That's the reason he's not been playing him.
I think Lampard doesn't like, or I'll put it this way: Jorginho and Kovacic aren't Lampard players, if that makes sense, in terms of what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Which is why I think what you can see with Lampard this season is he's kind of reduced the squad in terms of the players he wants to use, and he's playing them going forward. A lot of the players like Alonso, like your Kovacic, they're not getting as much minutes as they did. Last season. So yeah, it's good, but at the same time, I just hope he doesn't overrun our midfield at the moment, because there should be games where he's able to sit, a player like Conte, which I think is doing well at the moment. But also rest players like Mount. Mount is the one who worries me, because Lampard literally runs that guy to the ground. Even when he's on one leg, he keeps playing him. So if he can find a way to give these players rest during the season, that'll be good.
Do you know who Mount kind of reminds me of? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say that Kovacic, I would have kept Kovacic because I like the way he can bring the ball out of defense and all that when we're being pressed and we're in trouble. But it's Lampard, man. You can't predict anything he does.
Mount reminds me, and I agree with you, by the way. Mount reminds me a little bit of what Mourinho did with Oscar. He just kept playing him, and he kept playing him, and he kept playing him, and he kept playing him, and then he had to go to international. Like there was a season like Oscar came from the Brazilian league, played like a whole bunch of games with Di Matteo. Then he went to 2014 World Cup, then played all of 14-15, Copa America, 15-16, then he played the Olympics. Then he played all of 16, 17, and then I think he was sold in 17 or 16, somewhere in there. So, like, he never got a break. And it seems like Southgate and Lampard are doing the same thing to Mount, where they're just going to play him until he's dead. But there's no Chinese buyer to take him for 60 million. He's going to end up.
But whether isn't that like slave labor, man?
How so?
He's. I mean, always. I mean, like
he's being paid.
True. Slaves weren't paid. So isn't it like a white slave labor then? Caucasian slave labor is like you're literally just playing. You're literally just playing this dude. Like, and you can see that. Do you know what was funny? Every time that man comes on, this guy is like. Basically, he's like a dog. Where it's like, because this guy has just run. He's not done much, but this guy has run like crazy. When he goes, like, and like Lampard gives him a massive hug and everything. I'm like, God damn, you're just letting this guy just run like a piranha, man.
But yeah, it was just 14 World Cup, 15 Copa America, 16 Olympics, 17 another Copa America, something like that. So Oscar never caught a break, so I hope they don't do the same thing with Mount. And Oscar was one who would press, and he ran. He was very diligent. It's why Mourinho wanted him in the team over Juan Mata, if you remember. So,
Yep, 2015.
I'm just saying, I hope they don't run that same program with Mason Mount.
Have you guys talked about Mendy?
Yeah. We did. I mean, look, you can quick thoughts on Mendy since you guys weren't here. Thoughts on Mendy.
I think credit has to be given to Lolishon. I really don't know if you guys know Lolishon very well. It was one
goalkeeping coach.
Yeah, it was one who brought up Peter Cech. Like I think from the 2003 on, that would say when he took over. It was one who brought from that 2003 onwards. Was the goalkeeping coach. It was also the one who trained Eduardo Mendy. He recommended Mendy to Peter Cech also too. So I think credit has to be given to Lolishon also too for being the goalkeeping coach for Eduardo Mendy. He has improved massively. That's why we've seen the improvement in him. Yeah, Kepa may be bad, but do I trust Kepa being the goalkeeper in between Thiago Silva and Kozuma? I doubt it, because people say Chelsea doesn't have an experienced goalkeeper. Then I go to Spain, I see Mr. Ramos, and I see Piqué behind them, and Kepa doesn't make mistake. I was like, what's going on? If you can keep between Ramos and Piqué at Spain, there's a problem in Chelsea in which everybody has to figure out what exactly is going on. So Kepa has been bad, but Mendy has a commanding communication in between the defense, which has really helped me a lot because of his leadership as a goalkeeper.
But he's also just made better decisions as a keeper as well, which Kepa just hasn't done with Chelsea. So and Spain played differently from Chelsea as well.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Spain played differently from Chelsea, but the problem with Kepa is I always say it's all about confidence, because if he doesn't trust his central back, the 5 and 6, as a goalkeeper, you're gonna have a problem. Because I don't think those central backs trust him a lot. In Zuma and maybe Thiago Silva and maybe another partner, they don't trust Kepa. If you look at them very well, to give Kepa the ball, it's gonna be a problem. Look at Mendy. If they give Mendy, but Mendy will shout, "Don't pass that." He will shout. If that play the ball out and just play it out, that's a goalkeeper you need. But Kepa will just be looking. That's it. That's the problem with Kepa. So he need that commanding figure in himself. And at the moment, he's losing it to Mendy. I'm not going to be surprised if he gets sold next season. I'm not be surprised. Who wants to buy him? I have no idea.
All right. So Eddie, thoughts on Mendy?
I don't know if you guys saw Callum Hudson-Odoi's Instagram post. He scored some goal today and kept on goal. And when the ball's in the air, I could literally predict that this was going in even before he kicked it, without looking at goal. But in terms of Mendy, I mean, we pretty much said it all at this point. What I just want to see is him keep this up, and see Chelsea play the likes of Tottenham, play the likes of Man City. Let's start playing the big games and see what we really have. Because what you can see, I think his 10 games of beating now with Chelsea, you know, the confidence is up right now. We're going into games literally saying, okay, we're not conceding today. We're going to score a lot of goals, and that's it. What I want now is for us to go up a level and play the big boys. Then we can really sit down and assess what we really have and talk. But if we're going to do this every week, we're actually going to say, yeah, Mendy's the best goalkeeper at Chelsea, which is not that hard because Chelsea is our second best goalkeeper at the moment. So, yeah, I think he's good. He's performed well. He's keeping the defense organized. His decision-making is good. And I think his feet, he's a pretty good ball player from what I've seen as well. I mean, there's not much to fault right now. Let's just play the big boys, get tested a little bit. And see.
Do you know what's really interesting?
Yeah.
I think this could have big consequences for Senegal as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he has maybe under 10 senior appearances for Senegal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think one of Senegal's problems in the last AFCON was their goalkeeper. He was funny, or at least in the World Cup. In the World Cup, their keeper was a bit sketchy. So if this guy is what we think he is, then that could improve Senegal.
So he's Senegalese.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
You know, because I was trying to figure out the flag. I was like, is that thing?
No, the second goalkeeper for Rennes is the second backup for Eduardo Mendy.
He got his first cap in 2018, and he's only played 8 games for Senegal. So if they discover that, hey, he's Chelsea's number 1, he's probably going to be Senegal's number 1. What does that do for Senegal moving forward if you add Mane, Keita Balde, Alou Cisse is the manager and all of it?
Don't mention Neon. Please don't mention Neon. Please don't mention Neon. Thank you.
Ismaila Sarr.
Ismaila Sarr.
Probably say anybody apart from Neon. The worst.
So anyway, there are African football consequences to this, which I always like to bring up.
So and from Yasser's side, it says Lampard is such a lucky manager. Poor Ole. Yasser side, I told you that Solskjaer was going to get sacked by Christmas. I told you he was going to get sacked by Christmas. So it says that Mendy is using Juju. Investigation needs to happen. Wait. Why they hate? Look,
the reason is because in that time I saved 3 1-on-1. Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, and Duamata 1v1 3 times in a row. So I think that was the reason though, because there was a 1-1-1 in the first half in which Mendy came out and punched from Rashford. But
side, he's a United fan who is just salty because he knows that Solskjaer is going to get sacked, and those guys lost to Istanbul Başakşehir and they conceded a goal. Oh, guys, shout out to Demba.
Yo, I was about to say, if this is complicated Chelsea show, then big up Demba, man. Demba came through, bro.
That goal was almost exactly the same as the goal when Mourinho was like.
Yo, that clip of like when they asked Jose Mourinho, it's like, so how did you do it? And he was like, ask Jamie Redknapp, he's a brilliant football brain.
But we know one of those sort of things that
he will explain to you everything.
Was it Sunderland that Chelsea lost to in the next game?
No. That they lost to Sunderland before that game. That was the third to last game. So they I think they drew with Norwich. There was a 0-0 where they drew with Norwich.
I'm not sure.
And then they finished the season at Cardiff, I want to say.
Because there was something that happened in the next game which meant that because if they'd won their last 2 games, Chelsea would have won the league.
No.
No. We are third already.
Yeah.
Chelsea were out of the league, I'm pretty sure by then.
I mean, they weren't out theoretically.
Yeah. Mathematically, they went out.
Or mathematically, but in theory, they were out.
Yeah.
But it was where they lost the league was John Terry scored the own goal against Crystal Palace. They lost 1-0. Fabio Barino, what was it? Fabio Barini scored. He ruined Mourinho's home winning streak at Stamford Bridge. And then, do you guys remember the Fabian Delph backheel goal at Aston Villa? So those 9 points, if you add them up, or maybe just 6 points, but that's what lost Chelsea the league in 13-14. But
okay, look,
we'll always have PSG, man. We'll always have Demba Ba again scoring against PSG. So,
all right, guys, look, man, thank you for joining in. Hopefully, we'll see you guys again next Thursday at the same time.
That was my last season as like a hardcore Chelsea fan, by the way.
So
good times.
Chelsea fan.
Good times, man.
Don't lie to yourself.
That's why I can remember the games. You asked me who we played last week, I don't know, but I can tell you what happened in 13-14.
Okay, guys, peace out. Stay true, stay real, and we're out of here, man.
Peace, guys. Peace. Thanks.
Peace.